excited to announce that we've got Nishant on our episode, and we are speaking about longevity and peptides. And this episode is a little bit more controversial than some of the other episodes. We get into discussing regulations around peptides. I give my perspectives, he gives his. So I hope that you enjoy the episode. It is coming on the podcast. Please subscribe to it. It is on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all the platforms. If you want to follow us on LinkedIn or Instagram, there's also pages for that. And looking forward to seeing you there. Thank you very much for supporting the channel. Welcome everyone to the Bedsides and Boardroom podcast, where we speak about the intersection between business and medicine. Today we've got Nishant on the line, and he's going to be speaking about longevity medicine and peptides, which is something that is really new, and there's a lot of innovation going in the space. So I'm excited to chat about that. Nishant, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Nathan. Thank you for the invite. I mean, it's been great. Let's see where this goes.
But I'm not too sure where this episode's going to go. We might disagree on certain things. I hope that you're ready for it. And just for the audience, can you just give us an idea of what you're doing and how you got into the longevity and peptide space?
Sure. Looking forward to the discussion, Nathan. I'm Nishant. So I'm a biotechnologist by my education. I've been working in healthcare, longevity, preventive health for the past 5-6 years. And the last 3 years has been purely focused on longevity, genomics, microbiome, all the preventive diagnostic tools, or in the healthcare niche segment. I've been part of startups from 0 to 1 startups in healthcare and longevity here in UAE, and currently I'm part of a company called Value Health, and I lead the longevity and peptide category, and I work in right between the intersection of healthcare and commerce. So I commercialize healthcare. I mean, I'm an expert. I mean, I look into science commercialization. So that's what I do.
Brilliant. Well, that's why we had you on the podcast.
Yeah.
So just so that I can understand, and for our listeners, just as a straight out definition, what is longevity medicine?
That's a bit of a tricky question because it's an umbrella term. I would say longevity. So in the very small basic explanation, it's preventive. It's not reactive. So current healthcare is always reactive. You go to an hospital or a doctor once you feel sick. So you have this, I mean, either you have fever, cold, anything, any disease you have, you go to a doctor. Or, at any point of time, you think, oh shit, I need to go to a doctor today. You're perfectly fine. No one does that, right? So preventive health or longevity is like increasing, doing stuff, be it test, be it some diagnostic test, or you go do like some test like VO2 max or any healthcare test that stops your disease from occurring. You're stopping this disease from occurring. You're thinking before the disease even comes, right? And increasing the last years of your life. So longevity, it does not mean that we are stopping you from dying. So that's not longevity is. So that is the health span. So there's something called lifespan. So there's a difference between the lifespan and the health span. So lifespan is your total years you live in. So it might be 100 years or 120 years or 150 years. Health span is the last 10-15 years, usually goes down the drain. It degrades. Last after your 70s, right? Maybe you live up to 80, but then last 10 years is always you're bedridden. You can't walk properly. You're always out of hospitals. We're trying to reduce that time. So that is what longevity medicine is. We're trying to reduce that time and be more healthier in the last years of your life.
Okay, that makes sense because I can see there's lots of types of things that we do in medicine that is prophylactic. For example, we take vaccines, there's a whole bunch of things of medicine, but I see what you're saying is that we're actually talking about those last years of life and making sure that you have really good years then. So what are the key differences between longevity medicine and traditional medicine, besides the fact that it's just preventative?
The key difference is, I mean, I'll tell from my own experience, right? So I've been in this commercial space of longevity for a few years now, and the early adapters for the longevity medicine are people obviously with money and who knows, I mean, who take care of their health. So these are, I mean, for people who are 50 years or 40s, I mean, they value themselves. You know, the body is the most core, I mean, it's the core of your life, right? I mean, it's like you need to take care of your body. And they do, I mean, there's a different segment called biohacking segment where they used all the stem cells, I mean, different uh, products to I mean, better their life. The core difference is, I mean, for at least this segment of people, is to live a really good life up till, I mean, the end. I mean, it could be end as whenever. So that is the core difference on preventive or longevity medicine. So you're living, I mean, for this, I mean, there are a lot of diagnostic tools which is already available. So for everything for longevity is already available. You no need to do any extra, I mean, research on that, right? So there is like microbiome testing. So there is this gut microbiome testing. You can check the microbes in the gut, which is one of the core pillars of longevity. Then there is mitochondrial dysfunction, when you doctors, probably preventive or functional health doctors, which starts becoming mitochondria, where it starts depleting once you start aging. And your telomeres, there's something called telomeres in your body, so it's a cap in the chromosomes, and this starts going, it's reducing once you age. I mean, how do you stop it? I mean, stop by doing all this test, and you sleep properly, you drink the right amount of water, you exercise properly. So it's a lot of lifestyle changes, which, and there is this supportive test which you do the test, and again the functional doctors looks into this test and go from there. So everything is already available. It's not as difficult that people sound. Longevity is just a combination of these words. And yeah, that's, I think, the most differential for the normal traditional medicine, longevity medicine. So doctors are trying to prevent a disease before occurring. I mean, I think I should give an analogy too. So Angelina Jolie, right, an actress. Everyone knows Angelina Jolie, the actress. She uh, she did a test called genome sequencing. So she sequenced the complete genes in the body and found out certain genes for the cancer. There's like a genes called BRCA1 genes. These genes were overexpressed, and from her history, our familiar history, and she found that a lot of her family members suffered from breast cancer. So what she did, even before the cancer spread in her body, she had no cancer. She did double mastectomy to stop the cancer from happening in the first place. I mean, is it a drastic situation? I mean, it's a really drastic step she did, right? I mean, she did double mastectomy without having cancer. It's controversial. But then the probability of having cancer was very high, and that's a step she did. So that is preventive medicine. I mean, is it drastic? Is it like over? I mean, how would you put it? Is it done overtly? We don't know. But then now she's not going to get the breast cancer because, yeah, she removed them. So that's one example, yeah.
Okay, that is a nice example, and I guess in the more extreme case, that could be something that you could do to prolong your life. So just explain to me so that I understand, how does it work? Does someone come to you and say, this is my lifestyle, this is what I do, what can I do to improve my life? And then you give them recommendations? Or how does it work when you work with an individual?
Interesting question. I mean, I'll tell you at least what is happening in UAE. UAE is one of the hub for longevity right now. You'll find a lot of longevity clinics, and every month there's a longevity clinic opening here in UAE. And I mean, one is due to the regulation and the opportunity that the UAE government has created. I mean, they have addressed the longevity. I mean, healthcare is a big problem. Let me put this: the aging is a big problem. Aging is a big problem for any governmental organization. It's like multi-billion dollars of money which is depletes because one person age. And this is a burden that you're creating to the government, right? Once you're 60, 70, you need way more healthcare, you need way more doctors, medication, because only you age, because you're aging. I mean, that's inevitable. So we are trying to reduce the healthcare cost for any government. So longevity is on top a big problem. So you need to be healthy throughout your life. So UAE has made a really good progress on that.
I'm just trying to understand, when you work with someone that
Yeah, sorry.
you in longevity, how does it work?
And I mean, yeah, these guys search up longevity clinics. I mean, again, these people are they have the money, they have interest in healthcare. I mean, always early or adapters of any industry would be people with the money, the time. They know the industry very well, and they want the best for themselves and their family. So they probably would search online, understand what it is. They're well educated too. They're well aware. So when they come to us, they know what exactly they need. So either they are not able to sleep properly, either I mean they believe their hormones are depleting. So that's where all the diagnostic comes, like the peptides, TRT, hormone replacement therapy, testosterone, stem cells, all this. The only way the doctors, what they do is they look into the patient, they triage the patient, they look into all the data from different points. It's called longitudinal data analysis. It's like your data from your Whoop watch, your I mean, the data is everywhere. There's so much different data, right? I mean, there's no doubt of data. The doctors or the team, the longevity experts or connoisseurs, or I mean, there's so many different longevity services now. They look into this person's data holistically, from the sleep data, the food they eat, the time they're awake, the energy that they're burning, the calories. I mean, we test their mitochondrial dysfunction, we test their microbiome. So there's microbiome in your oral microbiome, there's vaginal microbiome, and you get all this data. Now this team of experts, longevity experts, they look at this data and say, okay, this is where you can optimize, this is where you optimize, and come up with a complete plan for this person. It could be food, it could be the exercise the person do, it could be pharmacogenomics. So pharmacogenomics is where the drug interaction in individual is completely different from you. So Nathan, for example, for you, Nathan, probably I mean, Pandol is a common drug, right? Pandol. I mean, maybe you need 500 mcg paracetamol. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Maybe you would need 500 mcg, 500 gram of paracetamol to feel better. But for me, I just need like 100 gram of paracetamol, right? How do you know that? People are just taking generic medication out, directly from the pharmacy. But there is a specific amount of medicine that you need and specific amount of medicine that I need. So that's where the pharmacogenomics come from. So you test your genes to find the drug-drug interaction. And yeah, this is the holistic report that any really good longevity. I mean, it is costly for now because the testing all this is costly. But as I said, everything is already available. There's nothing to go out and do research. Everything is available to live an happy, long life.
Okay, so I kind of understand the process that you'd go
Yeah.
and get a consultation. You might get a bunch of interventions. I think they might look at your profile and say, you only exercise once a week. You should exercise 5 times a week, and
Yeah.
you don't sleep between these hours. You should sleep these
Mm-hmm.
hours, and then some of the other more say scientific tests that you could do, or laboratory tests.
Mm-hmm.
So how does this now, the longevity medicine, relate to peptides, and what is happening with the industry of peptides?
Okay, peptides. I mean, I just was at an event 2 days back, and the amount of people who ask about peptide has increased drastically. For the last couple of years, or I would say 1 year, I mean, 1.5 years, the peptide has, I mean, increased in popularity, I mean, for different reasons. But the one thing you need to know, the biggest breakthrough in the 20th century for medicine is a peptide. I mean, which peptide? It's insulin. Insulin is a peptide. And I mean, the reason why it is increasing in popularity right now is because of GLP-1 drugs. I mean, most of the people either have heard of GLP or are on GLP. I mean, these are Ozempic, Mounjaro, the drugs from all these pharmaceutical giants, Novo Nordisk, Eli Lilly. I mean, at one point, I mean, because I look into commercial part, right? Novo Nordisk was one of the biggest company in Europe. I mean, it was bigger than the economy of the country with the Novo Nordisk resides, and I mean that's what the power of GLP-1 drugs are. So there is always new GLP-1 drugs coming in the market. I mean, there's Wegovy pills now in the market, and all these are peptides. So there are 7,000 plus peptides, and the body makes these peptides, right? Peptides are already in the body. So what exactly are peptides? Peptides are cellular messengers. So you can think of it as protein. Protein is a bigger form of peptide. So if protein, I'll just give you a random number. Protein is 1,000 if I mean to visualize in the mind, if protein is 1,000, like 1,000 numbers, peptide will be like 50. The 50,
Amino
50
acids.
amino
Amino
acid. Yeah,
acids. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah,
So
it's amino acid.
it's a structure of amino acids. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a
Yeah.
very small structure of amino acids. So they are signaling molecules. They tell the body to make hormones. They tell the body to make sleep, or they tell the body to reduce inflammation. This peptide just tells the body to do stuff. They signal the body to do stuff. It is not hormones, because hormones, you inject the synthetic hormones into your body from outside. You make the hormones, that is something that you're injecting synthetically. But peptides tell your body to make the hormones itself, right? Your body is making the hormones. It's just signaling your body to make the peptide. As you age, the peptides reduce drastically. So that's where you inject the peptides that you compound in a lab, a compounding pharmacy, or different channels of peptides. It's a different topic of its own. You inject it in the body, and there are certain the peptides called BPC 157, TB 500, thymosin alpha, Cmax, Cilanx. So these are all the peptides that is available here. And the story of the peptide, as I said, right, it started with insulin. So insulin is one of the peptides, and in Russia, so there is a scientist in Russia. They were looking to optimize their own astronauts, soldiers. I believe his name is Dr. Valdemir. Maybe you would need to cross check on that. He started researching on some compounds to make the people more energetic, the soldiers and astronauts. So he came up with a peptide called epithanol. This is decades back, 1990s. That's where the peptide research picked up. And I think a few decades back in Croatia, they found a lab in Croatia, they found a component called body protection compound, BPC 157. So this BPC is one of the most common peptides. Even our doctors prescribe this peptide for the people who want, who have injuries, or certain difficulties in walking. So this BPC was invented or found in the body. So it's in your intestine. So the function of BPC is it protects the stomach lining from the body's own acidic acid. So your body produces acetic acid, and this protects it. That's a name. That's where you derive the name from, body protection compound. This BPC, when you inject again, it works in a process called angiogenesis and heals your injury in your shoulder, leg, or anywhere in the body. So we had this one client who had injury in the body, in the shoulder part, and he was not able to. The shoulder was not mobile enough. And our doctors prescribed him a course of a stack called Ulverine stack. There are a lot of stacks, BPC and TB. And after 1 month, he was able to this complete mobility restored. And now it's been 3 or 4 months that he's in the cycle and he stopped peptides. So there's so many different cases like this, people which have helped people. The peptides have helped people, but it's not a magic pill, and it's very individualistic. So every individual, how the peptide reacts to every individual is different, and you need a doctor consultation, a doctor follow-up to use peptide. You just don't buy it off from a random website you find.
Okay. So just to at the basic level, a peptide is a piece of a protein built from the same compounds as proteins, amino acids. Those peptides go and sit on a cell, and like a lock and key, and then they will do some kind of function within that cell. So if it's insulin, for example, release insulin, then insulin will regulate the blood glucose level so it doesn't go too high.
Yes.
Now, just so that I can understand, there's a lot of regulation around what we inject into people. All medications that you can buy on the market or that are prescribed by someone is approved by a regulator. Some peptides, like the GLP-1s, have been extremely well researched, been around for decades. There's a high grade of evidence for them. And then some of these peptides are not as well researched, not necessarily because they're bad or harmful, but just because the clinical trials haven't taken place. So can you just give me a landscape of what is out there if I wanted to buy a peptide? What can I treat? Which conditions can I treat with those peptides?
Okay, the regulatory landscape is a bit tricky, but then I'll tell you what is happening in UAE because we are based in UAE and my company is also based here. So there is thankfully some kind of oversight for the peptides that is compounded in UAE. So there is something. There are this labs called compounding pharmacies, and the compounding pharmacies are allowed to compound peptides or any other drug. So they
So
are
that's like
regulated.
they're allowed to create it. Is that what you
Yeah,
said?
yeah.
I don't understand.
So
Okay.
they are allowed to create it exactly. They get the raw materials from different raw materials are called APIs, active pharmaceutical ingredients. They get it from outside the country for sure. It could be from US, China, Russia, anywhere, which is an FDA approved factory, or and they bring that into the country legally and they start compounding it or making the peptide, right? So that's how we get our peptides. So we get it from this compounding pharmacy, which is regulated by Ministry of Health, MOH, and EDE, Emirates Drug Establishment. So thankfully there's some kind of oversight in UAE. That's a UAE landscape, and in the countries like USA, 2024, if I remember properly, 2024, they took the peptides outside. They made it illegal to compound the peptides in USA. So from then till now, you're not able to compound the class 1 peptide, the certain peptides, BPCs, TB, you're not able to compound it. They stopped the compounding of it. But couple of months back, like 2 months back, the current administration in US looked into this problem and they've addressed it, and they are trying to make it again legal to compounding. And next month, July 21st, 22nd, they're going to do this. They're going to come up with a amendment or regulation to say what can be compounded, what cannot be compounded. So all the peptide industry is waiting for this time. July, end of the third week, fourth week of July, to see what the US government is going to say. So that is the regulation in that part. So they are even it is going towards a regulated, legalized channel, the peptides. And are they FDA approved? No. You're right. The certain peptides are FDA approved. All the GLP-1s are FDA approved, and I think certain peptides like tesamorelin, thymosin, certain peptides are FDA approved, and other peptides are not. The reason why it is not FDA approved because big pharmaceutical giants are not able to patent it, the peptides have not gone through the complete clinical trials. So you're right. The most of the peptides have only gone through the animal studies. Be it the BPC, which was invented in Croatia, has only gone through animal studies, right? The reason it has not gone through the complete clinical trials is one. The pharmaceutical giants are not able to they don't put the billions of dollars required to do the clinical trials. It's not, who's going to put the money? It's not essentially because they're not safe. It's just there is no commercial, I would say, maybe a bit controversial. I don't think there's any commercial interest for a big pharma company to put money in a peptide which is already found in the body, right? They can't patent it. That's the reason. That's the reason I would say the commercial giants are not putting the money to. It's widely used. BPC, all those peptides are widely used now. There's no commercial interest, is what I say, for the for this giant companies to go through the clinical trials. Did you get the gist of what I'm saying? Yeah.
No. So there's a few interesting things there. So obviously the pharmaceutical companies, in order to put money into R&D, they're going to have to see some kind of return for that.
Yeah.
And we understand that is extremely expensive to go from having a compound that will eventually become a commercial drug. What I want to understand is, what does FDA approval mean, and what is the process that a drug needs to go through in order to get FDA approval?
FDA approval is one, FDA is a US government. It's a federal drug. It's a US. We say FDA because we're such used to US regulation, but then there's no need for for the rest of the countries or the rest of the world, that does not matter. But I mean, yeah, to go through an FDA approval, you need to go through all the clinical trials. There's 4 clinical trials. You need to find the LD50 or the limit of the peptide. I mean LD50. I guess you increase the peptide, like if you increase this peptide like 1,000 times and inject into the body, or inject into a rat or an animal study. Animals, it's everything is animals. You inject into an animal, and when will that animal die? I mean, there's a lot of different markers which has not been done for peptides, but there are lot of smaller studies being done in peptides, and now even we are planning to do few studies on peptides too. So we are doing. Yeah, but that has been. I mean, that's the reason the FDA. It's not FDA approved. There's not enough data, and there's not a company which pushed for the FDA approval, right? And I don't think you can. I mean, you can't patent or you can take a commercial interest for a peptide is already in your body. I mean, BPs is already in your body. I mean, I don't think they can patent it too. Yeah. I mean,
Okay, so you'd have to go through, I'm just trying to get
mm-hmm,
the process down. So if I had a compound that I wanted to uh, get regulated or be able to administer, we talk about FDA. I agree that it's American, but there would be European, there would be regulators where I'm
yeah,
from, South Africa, here in the UAE.
yeah,
So
mm-hmm,
there's a process that whatever you want, wherever you're going to administer that drug, you're going to need to go through that regulatory process. Now, can you explain to me just maybe high level, what are those processes? You mentioned the 4 types of trials. We don't have to go into too much
mm-hmm,
detail, but like what are those processes that someone has to go through, and why does it cost? Why is it so expensive? Why is it
mm-hmm,
billions in order to get a
mm-hmm.
drug to market?
Yeah, Nathan, I would need to recall my biotechnology course for this. I mean, because it's a you need thousands of people, multiple different companies, to make a drug approved. It's not a very simple process. So yeah, there's 4 level of clinical trials, and you do like in silico, which is like you do online. You did bioinformatics testing for this drug to see the drug interaction. You need to see if the drug is interacting with other drugs.
Mm,
You need to have like clinical trials where you bring like a cohort of people, like 1,200, 500, how much of a people is required for this clinical trial, and you inject this, the compound into the body, and you need to have a placebo. You need to check with the placebo if the drug, if the drug is effective or not. A placebo is just a drug. It's just a water. You inject. I mean, if there's 5 people, if there's 6 people, 3 people you inject the real drug, and the other 3 you inject a fake drug. I mean, there's no active component in the drug. And after like 1 year, if the fake, the people we injected, they don't know which. Even the researchers won't know who was the real drug and who we gave the fake drug to. The placebo too. After like 1 year, they come. Oh, I feel I'm all right. I mean, this drug really is effective. But at the end, we just gave him a placebo, and there's nothing in the drug. I mean, yeah, there's no point, right? I mean, yeah, there are a lot of different. It's like it's not. I mean, I'm not able to recall the complete different intricacies, which is clinical trials. It's a mammoth of its own.
yeah.
There's
So
a company called Contract Research Organization. There are CRAs, Contract Research Associates, working on this drug, this documentation. I mean, yeah.
So
But
just
yeah.
as a whole, like if we can just sum it up, we've got to test it in a lab. So the chemical's got to test it on cells in the lab. Then it's got to be tested on animals, and then it's got to be tested on healthy people, and then it's got to be tested on sick people, and it has to beat either a placebo, like you mentioned before,
Mm-hmm.
or it has to be better than a current treatment. And that process to go from, say, the first stage, eventually to get it available to be administered to someone, and for someone to pay you as a drug company, is very expensive. And that's why I can see why,
Mm. And it
uh,
takes
yeah,
it takes 15 10 15 years to do that. I mean,
many,
now
many
it is,
years.
yeah,
Many
many
years, yeah.
years. Now it is
Yeah.
reducing because of all the technology that's coming up, but then yeah, it takes many years.
So explain to me, why can't a peptide go through the same process for that type of approval?
Good question. That's the reason I told you, right? I mean, the peptides are already in your body. It's not, you're not creating this. peptide. You're not making it, keep making it in a lab and patenting it. It's already there in the body. So now everyone knows what BPC is. So big companies just cannot take a peptide which is already secreting in your body and everyone knows and say, okay, this is a drug that we found out. This is very effective in your injuries, your inflammation, and I'm going to do the clinical trials of it. The FDA would say, it's already there. You've not found anything new. Everyone knows about BPC 157. It's already secreted in your liver, in your intestinal lining. But how can you how can you patent it and sell it as your named drug? So that is a possible. That's a reason why most of the companies is not doing it. Yeah.
But there still is a risk here. So you can have something that occurs in your body, but if it is at a level that is unhealthy, for example, all of the hormones, every single hormone in your body has to be regulated within a certain band. Can't go too high, can't go too low. Hypo, whatever the hormone is, would be like that. So there's a safety element to peptide administration that needs to be addressed through regulation. Well, I see it as needs to be addressed through regulation, because even if that is occurring within your body, it can still be harmful. I think a really nice example is growth hormone, where a lot of people started taking growth hormone, felt amazing, felt incredible, and then later on in life, even a couple of years down the line, had problems with their bones, had fatigue, had a whole bunch of other conditions that they maybe wouldn't have had if they hadn't have taken the growth hormone. So just so that I can understand, I see that a compound can be occurring in your body, but that doesn't mean that it's not dangerous or that the administration of that needs to be regulated. So how do we square the circle? How do we make sure that there's innovation? We can take those compounds, we can give to people, but we know that in 10, 15, 20 years time that they don't have complications or it's not harmful.
To find the permissible limit or the toxicity limit, you don't need to go through all the clinical trials. There are already.
Why not? If I can ask you, if I can stop there, why not? Why do you not have to go through the clinical trials to understand where it's toxic?
Yeah, the clinical trials. As I said, clinical trials are segments of small things combined together. So all these 4 clinical trials, you can just do the toxicity part of it. There might be only a segment where only you can do the toxicity. You can run animal models. Most of it done in animal models. And all the peptides has been done in animal models till now. That's true. The LD50 or the rate of toxicity is not found out for the most of the peptides. But what right now we are just giving the patient is the least permissible amount. This is like for BPC it is 500 mcg per day. But then that is, which is very low from the studies that has already occurred. It says at least you can give up to 2 to 3 or 3 or 4, 5 mg per day and nothing is going to happen. Right? There are the smaller studies which have found out the toxicity and in different regions, and that is what most of the community which prescribes peptides or use peptides are looking into. But the thing is the quality of the study, the research paper is bit fishy. I need to agree to that. Most of the studies done in Russia or China, and the most gold standard of the studies is always either the European Unions or the USA, and not many studies have come out from there. Most of the AR studies is from these 2 regions right now. So coming back to your question, we are giving least permissible amount is what in the complete peptide committee, not that is could be given, and from the smaller studies that we know that what exactly is the amount that we are not supposed to reach for like any peptides. And right now, we just give only 10 or 15 peptides is what is available commercially right now. I mean, as I said, the 7,000 plus peptides. But
Mm.
the 10, 15 peptides, what you know is the peptide is well researched. And there are thousands of people who are using this. I mean, there are this biohacking community, Nathan, that is like this amount of people who have tried anything. I mean, they documented, they've tried it, they documented, try it. I mean, yeah, we have those data too.
Yeah, I guess so. There's a difference between, I would say, more anecdotal evidence and, you know, going through all the
Yeah.
processes like you would
Mm-hmm.
have in a clinical trial. Um, I am, I think that innovation is incredible. I mean, obviously, I'm in innovative in innovation in the space, but I also think that, especially when we are administering something to a patient, if we're advising a patient to take a certain medication,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's recurring in the body or not, we got to be confident that
Yeah.
um, won't hurt them. That
Mm-hmm.
the benefit
Mm-hmm.
the will outweigh the risk. So, I mean, I'm just trying to press you a bit on this. But how do we know that that risk is worth taking for the benefit that we're going to get when you
Mm-hmm.
advise? And I talk about patients, but maybe you might talk about clients. How, when you advise a client to take a peptide, how do we make sure that it's safe, that we first do no harm?
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, how the peptides have been recommended or prescribed is through a doctor consultation. So now, if you search online now, you'll find, I would say, 3 to 4 different kind of peptides. I mean, the supply chain of peptide is very important. One, you'll get the peptides you give, I mean, the clinics or hospitals are prescribing you, recommending you. You sit with a doctor, speak with a doctor, and you have multiple follow-ups. And this peptide is a pharma grade peptide, which you get from a compounding pharmacy. Second is research only peptides. There are many websites. I'm not going to name any website. I mean, it's available in UA too. You'll find that it is written in every single page. This is not for human consumption. It is only for research or animal studies. I mean, this is one kind of peptide. I mean, then there is gray channels, black channels where you get for you can spend like $2 and get from China. I mean, there. I mean, I'm not going to talk about the last two. I mean, the pharma grade are peptides which you get from the company pharmacy, and we get the stability testing, endotoxin testing, and certificate of analysis from for those peptides because it's made here in UAE, and you understand the supply chain of those peptides. And next is the research only peptides. So this peptides again, I mean, this companies there are a lot of companies putting up now because of the commercial peptides. It's like growing like crazy. It's like every day. I mean, the number of people using peptides are increasing. To just get the economic standpoint, they've started these companies for research only. I mean, that's how it's been sold in US and other territories too, only for research purpose. Yeah. And how do you do it? You go through a consultation, you understand, the doctor understands your requirements, and these doctors, at least the doctors what we have, are well qualified for peptides. And there's no board where you study where peptides is. I mean, they have obviously learned themselves, used on themselves. Our doctors, I mean, they have been on peptides for more, I think, even before the peptide craze was here in the market. And you speak with them and start with the lowest dose possible. You just don't go. I mean, there are clients who come and I mean, they argue that I need this peptide, I need this, I need this. I mean, doctors will say no, it's not possible. I mean, then they call back to us. I mean, your doctor is not good. They're not giving us all this peptides. I mean, the people are. I mean, Nathan, I'm not gonna. And, yeah. So we start with the smallest dose possible. We don't add all the peptide at once. So we start with the peptide. We see where it goes, and from there, yeah, either increase the dose or reduce the dose according to how it reacts to the clients. I mean, that's how it has been done here. There is an added, because obviously there is an added, how do you take, safety concern, I would say. But then most of the clients would know that. I mean, they know what peptides are. Until now, I mean, for the millions of people who use peptides, there's not been any crazy. Millions of people who peptides, there's not been any crazy. I mean, the situation where that, yeah. And that's what the US government is also regulating it now. They're trying to regulate it because they know the people are using it. And next month, I mean, they're going to come up with this amendment.
Okay, so I see that there is a component of self-accepted risk, I guess you'd say that, of someone that comes in and says, this is a peptide that I'm willing to take on the risks. But I think as an administrator, as someone that is prescribing that, there's an added ethical burden to you to ensure that that is safe. And I think, I don't know if there's enough out there. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know if there's enough out there to ensure that there's safety with the limited amount of evidence that there is for the peptides. This is not to say that they don't work. It is more to say that maybe we need to pump the brakes in certain peptides going out. I mean, if there's 7,000 all on the market, that's a lot that could be beneficial, but there's a lot of risk out there that we could also have.
It's not limited. I mean, you said limited, but then I mean, it's decades of people are using it. It's not like it just didn't start 1 year back. I mean, 1 year back is what you started hearing about peptides, but then peptides have been here for like, I mean, at least all these common peptides, right? It's been here for like decades now, 30, 40 years. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. So not all peptides are the same. Some are well researched.
No,
some
I mean,
are, some are not well researched.
Correct. Yeah.
So it's a bit of a mixed bag, but it's always about protecting the public. How does the public know that research, or how much research has gone into that specific peptide? It's not always.
Exactly.
The public is not the same as a medical professional or someone that's working in the space. They don't have all the information. So I think there's always an element of predicting.
Yeah, the peptide, I mean, the clients, I mean, at least our clients who know, I mean, about peptides are, they're well researched, they're well read, they know exactly what they want. They've gone through all the study that is possible on themselves, they've researched well. I mean, they're not, but they're not ignorant people. They know this stuff.
I understand.
Right? Just doctors add the medical support which is required, and then our medical team adds some medical support that is required. But till now, we have done like, yeah. And also, I mean, I just want to point this out. I mean, country like UAE, the government came up with this law and to establish Dubai Longevity Authority, and I mean, an authority for to nurture longevity technologies, diagnostics, right? Which is a really big thing. I mean, a year back, Abu Dhabi government again did for the longevity clinics, they came up with regulation. I mean, we are living in that times where the government body itself is understanding what should be done in the longevity sector, to regulate it, to understand it and nurture the talent, AI-based longevity, right? So this is, I mean, yeah, which no other country is doing, by the way. So it's like we are, I mean, at least for us being here in UAE is, we are getting access to all this.
Well, I mean, I think it's an extremely exciting space. I mean, who knows, the next peptide might, extend your life by 20 years and we're just only stumbling across it now. So very, very interesting, and in a space that is full of innovation and have a lot of experimentation, which has got its good sides and bad sides, I guess. There is a closing tradition where we ask our last question to the guest, which is unseen. Okay. And this question that we're going to give you today is, how much evidence is enough for a doctor to prescribe a medication? So what would you say is enough evidence to prescribe a medication?
Enough evidence to prescribe a medication. Interesting. I mean, I don't know if you know off-label drugs. I mean, this concept of off-label drugs, there's a drugs which are FDA approved, but probably for something else. I mean, this drug A is FDA approved to treat your diabetes, right? But then when you start using this drug, you start losing your fat, you start losing obesity. I mean, this might be familiar with you. I mean, this is GLP-1.
Yes.
GLP-1.
Sorry, we have a nice example in emergency medicine where we give morphine for pain, but if we also give it off-label, for reducing blood pressure sometimes if
Yeah.
because if the blood pressure is really really high, we can give it and then you can administer it. So that is a common, say maybe common practice,
Yeah.
but it's giving it from a that's there's not been research in that specific
Exactly.
field.
Which answers to your question. Now doctors are not going to be like, okay, now this person is having this benefit, but I'm not able. I don't want to prescribe this drug because there's not enough evidence on this drug, right? I mean, that's not where it goes. I mean, if it helps the person, you give the drug. I mean, probably this person needs the drug more than the evidence, right? I mean, evidence comes after that. So, I mean, it's a tricky question, but then there's a lot of drugs. I mean, from your example too, I mean, a lot in the market. It just depends on what the person need and in which condition this person is. Maybe this kind of person is, I mean, the treatment condition. I mean, depends on that. But yeah, I mean, it's all the stakeholders should combine. I mean, there's like researchers, there's doctors, there's patient.
I think it's a very fascinating space to be in,
Yeah.
and I think there's a lot of innovation that's going in this sector, and I'm excited to see what comes from it. I think, as I said, maybe in the next 10 years we're going to find out the drug that's just going to extend all of our lives by a certain amount of years, and it's going to be amazing. But
Yeah.
Nishan, thank you so much for your time, and I really appreciate it. Thank you for coming on the podcast and allowing me to pick your brain on this very interesting topic.
Thank you, Nathan. Yeah, always a lot more on longevity, a lot more on preventive health. I mean, yeah, I mean, but it was a fun discussion, fun chat, I would say. I mean, yeah.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Nathan.
Thank you so much.